So I don't know if any of you have this problem out there, but whenever I wear skirts, there tends to be a bit of an issue, especially during summertime. You need to kind of wear something a little longer, like maybe some leggings underneath or something, but it's too hot. So I've been doing some research, and what did I discover but 1940s tap pants, or petty pants, or long underwear? Whatever you want to call them. But they actually seemed a lot more practical than what we typically wear nowadays. So instead of sitting there trying to get Spanx or some other sort of like shapewear to help keep with the whole thighs rubbing together and causing sores part, I decided let's go ahead and draft up some tap pants and see what we can make. We'll see how this goes. It's my first attempt at drafting a pattern in a really long time, but I actually have instructions this time. We'll see how this goes. Okay, now we have the last of our measurements. Time to material gather for the large sheet of paper that I need. Massive. Okay, I've got my tape measure, scissors, ruler. I don't know if I need that one, but we'll go with the big one just in case. Pencil. Eraser, ruler. This is a curved one. I don't know if it's the right shape because it's not a dressmaker's curve, but it's the best I got. And paper. That might be enough. So, draw a rectangle, width of 1/2 your full hip measurement plus 2 inches, height 16 to 18 inches high. But how do you know which one to do, 16 or 18? We'll go big and we can pull in smaller. Does anybody else feel my confidence fading? Okay, to explain the point of where we are now, we have our rectangle that is half of the full hip width, circumference, whatever, plus 2 inches, which for me is 22 and an 1/8. And then that's divided in half. We have this, each half is divided into thirds, so we have our front and our back waist. We have this yellow line marks the 4 inches down, to the top or the high hip measurement. This one marks down to the full hip measurement, which for me it's measured from 4 inches down from the waist down to the the high hip, and then 8 inches down. I may have done that wrong. I did this wrong. This one needs to come up because it needs to be measured 8 inches from the waistline, not from the high hip mark. So, got that wrong. Other than that, I have my initial dart measurements here and here, and those will be put in a little bit later. So, let's fix this little mess up here and get on to the cut shaping, I guess. Here we have our basic blocks, front, back, and now we put the eaves in for the seat and everything. And then I really hope that I have some scrap fabric that will be big enough to fit this, because I really do not want to use my pretty fabric yet. Okay, so good news is I have my blocks put together and made. Bad news is I can't seem to get the waist measurement and the high hip measurement and all that to average out properly, because you're supposed to have it to where by the time you're done you have a 1/2 inch to a 3/4 inch ease in the waist for comfort, about no more than, I think it's what they say, 4 inches, something like that for your high hip and so on. So right now I'm landing like right on the mark, which is great, because if I had, you know, something stretchy like a jersey or something, that'd be really fitted. It did fit like underwear typically does nowadays, but this is more of a petticoat with legs, so doesn't quite work. So we're gonna rework that, but I do have the block, so it's easy to add the excess inches that I need. You ever have moments where you're so proud of yourself because you figured out a problem and then realized that the whole thing would have been solved had you actually done your math right off of the correct thing to begin with? I'm sitting here freaking out, trying to figure out why my measurements weren't right. And it's because I was going off of a full hip, half of this, instead of half of my waist, or a quarter of my waist measurement, like the idiot I am. So instead of 5 and something inches, I actually have 8.6, which explains why my waistband doesn't fit right. Guess this means I have to start from scratch. Please hold. We have our patterned pieces with their seam allowances all done. Now we're going to set them on our, it was supposed to actually be like scrap fabric or really thin muslin, something like that, but the fabric I actually purchased to make these was only $3 a yard, bought it on clearance, not a big deal, so I was like, we'll go ahead and make one pair out of that fabric, because in reality it's actually the cheapest fabric I have to make a toil out of, or a mock-up, either way. So I'm going to make the first pair, stitch it together real quick, and we'll see what parts need to be changed, whether I need to take anything in or hopefully not add fabric to it. I'm hoping that it's all actually going to be me mismeasuring for the millionth time ever and actually have to take stuff in, because that's a lot more fun than having to add fabric. So we'll see you on the other side when everything's cut out and at least pieced. We'll see.
The Badlands region of the Western United States is a...
Oh my gosh!
What?
Hang on. Let's see if I can actually get them on camera.
There's a...
It's a herd of guineas.
What?
Flock of my favorite birds. Okay, project Snickers, I don't know what we want to call it, all done. Time to move on to new projects, which will be a little slow in the making, I'm afraid. I've got so many things lined up and not all of them are coming around as quickly as I was hoping. I'll explain that, I'm sure, in a little update video before or after this one, I don't know. But thanks for watching, bye!